Welcome to Fort Collins, Colorado, Moby Arena on the campus of Colorado State. Mountain West Conference basketball tonight. As we take you inside, the Rams are home, getting set to take on the Broncos of Boise State. And hi again, everybody, along with Joe Cravens. I'm Tim Neverett, happy you're along tonight. Joe, these two teams have had some very different results this year.
Well, Boise State's trying for their 20th win of the season tonight. Sure looking like an NCAA team. The Rams, on the other hand, trying to be the spoilers for the Broncos.
This will be a good display of two of the best guards in the Mountain West Conference. Boise State's Marcus Shaver leads the way for the Broncos.
Marcus Shaver is the guy that makes this Bronco team go. He leads them in assists, steals, rebounds. He's playing his 144th game here tonight. Stevens, the career leading assist guy in Colorado State history, their fourth all-time leading scorer. He is simply stated one of the best players in the history of Ram basketball.
And he can single-handedly take over a game. He'll be helped out on the inside tonight by Patrick Cartier. John Tonje also delivers a lot of the scoring for Colorado State. Max Rice, he kind of does a little bit of everything. He's the coach's son. And Tyson Dagenhart, the sophomore, freshman of the year last year. He's just that much better this year. Getting set for the tip, Dave Hall, D.G. Nelson, and Kevin Brill are the officials. Boise State in the black uniforms, Colorado State in the white home uniforms. And we are underway. Boise State with the first possession of the basketball game. And Shaver delivers it over to Rice, now to Najee Smith. So they work it around the perimeter. Shibuzo Abo will be a guy to keep an eye on as well. Here's Rice. Kicks it back outside to Shaver. Shaver needs 16 points for 1,000 as a Boise State Bronco. He already has 1,800 plus as a collegiate. Abo on the miss, and the rebound taken down by Colorado State's Baylor Hebb.
A very patient first possession for the Broncos, trying to set the tempo for how they're going to play at half court.
Tonje had that shot redirected by Smith. Boise State basketball again.
Both these teams are coming off wins, Tim, and both of them shot over 50% from the field in those wins.
Dagenhart with 2, and Boise State breaks the ice tonight.
Dagenhart had 22 points when they played earlier in the season. How about this? 10 of 11 field goal attempts.
This will be the matchup to watch during the course of this ball game. Now Rivera lines up a three. He's got it. And down on the floor is Isaiah Stevens. He got tangled up with Shaver. And now Stevens is in some pain on the floor.
Stevens missed the first 7 games of this season with a broken foot. You hope whatever happened that it is not that same foot or connected to that. Great pass by Stevens there to add to his career total of assists that leads the Rams.
We'd like to welcome you to Fort Collins, Colorado. Those who are watching NASCAR Cup qualifying. Mountain West basketball, Colorado State and Boise State just underway, 3-2. Rivera hit a go-ahead three-pointer for the Rams. And Isaiah Stevens, the very talented point guard for Colorado State, shaken up, but he is back on the floor. With Joe Cravens, I'm Tim Neverett. Happy you're with us watching Mountain West Conference basketball tonight. Boise State can get their 20th win of the year and their 10th in conference play. If they do get the victory tonight, Joe, they would tie Nevada for second place in the conference standings behind San Diego State.
Well, it's getting pretty crowded in those top 4 positions in the Mountain West Conference. 4 teams in the Mountain West Conference in the top 50 net.
Long feed intercepted by Najee Smith. Lobs it ahead to Rice. Rice one way, gives it to Shaver now. He'll pump it over to Najee Smith, who puts it on the floor. Back outside, Dagenhart.
Really good spacing by the Broncos. I know that is a big emphasis of their offense, is the spacing and ball movement. I've watched Leon Rice's practices and shoot-arounds many times, and that is a sermon over and over again.
Leon Rice, 263 wins, 151 losses. He has been outstanding in his 13 years on the bench for Boise State.
9 out of 12 seasons, he's won 20 games, obviously going for his 10th 20-win season as the head coach of the Broncos.
Smith with a right hand off the glass, no good. He's fouled. This will be the second team foul on Colorado State and the second personal foul on Baylor Head.
And what a nice pass by Marcus Shaver. That's one of those passes that doesn't get a lot of oohs and ahs. All it does is really help guys score points. Both these point guards are the ultimate point guards in that they make the game easy for everyone around them. That pass by Shaver, right on the money, right at the right time to Smith cutting to the basket.
Niko Medved in his 5th season at Colorado State, 88-60. Had a tremendous year last year. This year he's dealt with a lot of injuries, and he's been in a lot of close games. They've had a bunch of overtime games, and they just have not had the results that they've wanted this season.
Well, between injuries and losing close games, you call that buzzard's luck back where we're from. He's had a ton of buzzard luck. 25 wins last year, 14-4, their best ever conference record since they've been in the Mountain West Conference. 3 straight 20-win seasons for Niko Medved before this season.
Lost their best player, David Roddy, who left early to go to the NBA. He's with the Memphis Grizzlies.
23rd pick in the NBA draft.
Stevens rises. That's in and out. Boise State rebound. Degenhardt ahead to Shaver.
Stevens is really good inside that three-point line. He can shoot the three, but he has got a great middle game.
And this ball will go out of bounds. Tanjay will watch it and whistle, and Colorado State will have possession. 17-13 to go in the first half.
Well, I talked about both teams coming off wins, both teams shooting over 50% in their last game and their last win. Both teams shooting over 40% from the three-point line. We're not seeing quite that start offensively yet tonight.
Ajay Smith with a good defensive play, but the bounce went back to Colorado State. Cartier with the miss, and Degenhardt with position carried it out of bounds. So the Rams will have possession with 16:51 left.
That's a pretty good matchup there, Degenhardt and Cartier. Cartier leads the league in field goal percentage and is 6th in the entire nation. A 2-time Division II All-American transferred in to Colorado State just this last summer.
And Ajay Smith comes out for Boise State. Coming in, Lucas Milner. Also, Pavle Kuzmanovic, the Bronco bench. Good blind bounce pass, and the basket good by Cartier.
And a nice pass by Tanjay. Tanjay is a very, very good offensive player coming off 2 straight 20-point games.
Offensive foul on Kuzmanovic. That'll be his first, team's first, and a turnover for Boise State.
Kuzmanovic is 6'5", 190. Is kind of a combo guard. That full court pressure kind of got to him early there. He's had 18 games, no starts for the Broncos.
And Cartier up and under. He's fouled underneath. Milner got him. Lucas Milner, the grad student out of Scottsdale, Arizona, 6'10".
Tim, this is the lineup. Here's that foul. And he got him with the body. This is the lineup that Coach Rice started for the first 3 games of the year, with Degenhardt as the 4-man and Lucas Milner as the 5. And he said that just didn't click, and he then moved Milner to the bench and brought in Ajay Smith, which made him smaller. But he said as soon as he did that, boy, they really started clicking. But this is the lineup that they had early in the year.
Cartier knocks that down, and Colorado State leads by a bucket. Pressure by the Rams early on the Broncos.
This is not really where they really come after you. This is just kind of a pester press, I call it, more than anything.
Max Rice just gunned one up there, no good. And the rebound comes down to James Moores, who's off the bench for the Rams. A wild shot, foul before the shot on Tanjay as he was hit going to the bucket. And Degenhardt will be whistled for the foul.
Tanjay is a handful to guard. He is their second leading scorer behind Stevens, and he can shoot it in with that big, strong body. He can sure get to the basket with it as well.
They'll stay in possession of Colorado State. Some substitutions for the Broncos. Shaver comes back in. So does Najee Smith. Degenhart will get a breather.
Not exactly off to an offensive outburst here by either team in the first 4 minutes.
Rivera back to Tanjay. Moores fakes the handoff, now gives to Stevens. Yeah, that ball is stripped, but looked like Stevens got hit on the hand. And it'll be a foul on Boise State. Timeout on the floor at Moby Arena. 6-4 early, Rams lead. Both teams coming off wins in their last games. Tyson Degenhart, 20 points. Najee Smith, a double-double. Marcus Shaver, return to the lineup, 17. Boise wins by a dozen over Wyoming. CSU traveled down Interstate 25 to the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. John Tanjay, 21 for the Rams, including 12 in the second half. Isaiah Stevens, 20 of his own. And the Rams got the road win over the Falcons.
That stopped a 5-game losing streak by the Rams.
Bucket for Moores, and the Rams have doubled up the Broncos early.
The Rams are out rebounding the Broncos 5-2, and Boise State a better rebounding team statistically. Boise State almost +5 on the glass. The Rams -3, so the rebounding margin a little surprising early in the game.
Miller working on Moores, but ends up getting the ball back out to the front court with Shaver. He'll pull up from 15, and he hits.
Well, what a great change of pace, change of direction by Marcus Shaver. A lot of guys are what's called straight line drivers when they put their head down and go to the basket. Marcus Shaver's anything but that. Different pace, different direction.
Oh, a swat. Smith blocked it, but looked like it was on its way down.
Well, great pass by Stevens.
So that'll be goaltending on Najee Smith.
A second assist for Stevens already in this game, the career leader of Colorado State in assists.
Rice spots up, missed the three. Stick back misses, but there's Najee Smith on the rebound. Back out to Smith, left hand down the lane, changes to the right, in and out. Another rebound for the Broncos. Degenhart. Shaver trying to get around Stevens. And he does, and he scores with the right hand.
Great move by Marcus Shaver. I was just talking about change of pace, change of direction, the two principal elements to an effective dribble drive. Marcus Shaver just put on a clinic in his last two baskets there. He can turn on a dime.
Rams moving the ball. Top of the key. Tanjay ducks under a man. And the rebound to Degenhart.
Tanjay back-to-back 20-point games, both he and Stevens. They need both of them to be big scorers again tonight to send the Broncos home with a loss.
Degenhart just shovels it over to Young. Kobe Young in the game.
Good-looking freshman is Kobe Young, a great football player in high school. Could have went to a lot of places to play tight end. Also a great track guy.
A lob for Degenhart goes awry. Tanjay will lob it, and that is behind Tavy Jackson, the freshman from Las Vegas. And it's out of bounds and back to the Broncos.
The one thing Boise State did not do very well in their last game, they shot over 50% from the field, over 40% from three. They had 17 turnovers, Tim, against Wyoming, which is the second most of the season for them. It's very uncharacteristic for them.
Degenhart dead on, misses, and a foul. Hitting the deck was Joe Palmer.
Degenhart puts a lot of pressure on you on how you're going to guard that ball screen, because if you stick too long as a big with the guard coming off there, then Degenhart turns into the ultimate pick and pop guy. He had a great look at that three, then shot it well. It just didn't go down.
Offensive foul on Kobe Young, so Rams with the basketball. Stevens, little pull up short, front rimmed it. Smith ahead, Max Rice.
Max Rice having trouble getting that ball to go in for him tonight. The leading three-point shooter on this team, also leading free throw shooter, but not having a lot of success tonight.
Degenhart kicks it outside. Najee Smith in and out. Palmer the rebound. Rams on the run. heard the expression today at practice that the Rams play faster at home than they do on the road.
No, you and I sat through both shoot-arounds today, and they were anything but just a general shoot-around. So exact, so unbelievably planned defensive game preparation for both these teams. I was kidding. The Colorado coach said, maybe no one will score in this game. The way you guys have prepared there, Nico Medved said, you would only wish.
Tanjay had all day to line up that three.
A real breakdown in the Bronco transition defense there. As I used to tell my team, there was 5 of them, 5 of us. We had 2 guys guarding the same guy. Tanjay wide open there.
That's kept alive off the Rice miss. He's got it. Finds Shaver open. Shaver front rimmed it.
Well, the Broncos all over the offensive glass, but then kicking it out and shooting blanks from the three-point line so far.
They are 0 for 6 from behind the stripe so far.
I'd say that's shooting blanks.
Jackson, they work it around. Now Moore's dead on 3, top of the key, and he gets the roll. Well, sometimes that's the home run for you, right?
How about James Moore at 6'10", the big kid from New Zealand. Shooter's touch at home, as you said.
Well, from the capital city of Auckland in New Zealand.
Rams trying to stop a 4-game home losing streak after stopping their 5-game losing streak at Air Force Academy earlier in the week.
Smith. And going down was Tanjay right outside the restricted area arc.
And Kevin Brill shakes his head. No charge, no flop. We're just going to play. But right now the Rams are up 6. Look at the big guy from New Zealand putting on his guard act.
Najee Smith draws that foul, and the Rams in front. (16-10), Colorado State leading Boise State almost halfway through the first half. And we take a look at the 2 point guards in this one tonight. 2 of the best in the Mountain West Conference. Marcus Shaver needs 16 more to get 1,000 at Boise State. He's closing in on 2,000. And Isaiah Stevens closing in on 1,700.
Well, the best compliment you can give to a point guard, Tim, in my mind, is they make the game easier for everyone else. And that's exactly what these 2 guys do. And trying to coach a team without a good point guard is a little bit like trying to drive a car without a steering wheel. It's not a whole lot of fun.
I wouldn't think so. Rivera, long try, and he gets the roll. Boise State's probably saying, we can't wait to get that rebound second half.
No, that's 2 in a row. One by him, one by big 6'10" James Moore that has bounced, and found the bottom.
Largest lead of the game so far. 9 for Colorado State. Abo working his way against Rivera. And now Young with it. Kobe Young puts it in the corner. Dagenhart flips it back outside, and a whistle underneath. An offensive foul as Dagenhart ends up drilling Tavy Jackson to the floor.
Well, it's very, very obvious, other than Dagenhart's wide open three-point attempt on that pick and pop. They are trying to run him off of that three-point line. And the offside defense very alert for the Rams there. Keep in mind, Boise State, by virtually every defensive statistic, is the best defensive team in the Mountain West Conference this year, and Colorado State with 19 almost has them doubled up.
Cartier with the left hand, no good. Kobe Young fouled as he went after that rebound. Jackson will be the guilty party.
Kobe Young has a chance to be a great player here for Boise State. As I said, a great three-sport athlete in high school. Terrific receiver in football. Was one of the best 100-meter runners in track. He just oozes with athletic ability. The big challenge is just getting him time as a freshman.
One of those guys, 100 meters, good, and a long jump specialist, too. Not easy.
That's not easy.
Here comes Smith, the lob, and the miss. Milner was there, but Smith helped with the putback. Makes it a 7-point game.
Najee Smith did not start the first 3 games when Coach Rice was trying to go with a bigger lineup. He's been in the lineup ever since then and has really contributed.
And Palmer cut off by the elbow over to Hebb. Hebb lobs inside. Good pass to Cartier. And Cartier battling for the rebound. Loose ball. Shaver will take it. Boise State with a basketball. Here's Smith. Wild shot, and he's fouled. And Hebb's going to pick up his 3rd foul.
The home crowd doesn't like it, but I think that was the right call. And I thought Najee Smith did a nice job of getting it to the rim without drawing the offensive foul. Nico Medved, of course, not real happy with that. I thought that was the right call.
Well, the rotation's going to get a little shorter for the rest of the first half here. 3 fouls. Medved's going to have a chance to get somebody else in there, not risk him getting his 4th foul this early.
Najee Smith, a 64% free throw shooter. In conference play, he has upped his scoring to over 11 points a game, which makes Boise State the only team in the Mountain West Conference to have all 5 starters averaging in double figures.
Hits them both, and it is 19-14. 5-point lead currently for Colorado State.
Colorado State has had a couple games in the recent 2 weeks that they've only had 7 scholarship players available to play. To give you any indication about how they have fought the injury bug this year.
It's up on top of the backboard, out of bounds. You were telling me today about a shot you saw that hit the top but didn't quite go over, then came down and went in.
I was telling you and Leon Rice about it. When I was the head coach at Idaho, I lost a game on a shot at Boise State that hit the rim, hit the corner of the top of the backboard, and dropped in, and we lost. Funny how you remember those things.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Turnaround shot good by Smith.
Back-to-back baskets for Najee Smith, a kid coming off his first career double-double, 18 points, 10 rebounds in their win over Wyoming. As I said, he has become just a solid contributor since he's been inserted into the lineup.
Now Cartier missing on the 3. It seems like Boise State has been swarming on the rebounds. Shaver, runner, and it's no good.
Tough shot by Shaver, a runner coming straight down the pike like that, and those almost always end up long, as that one did.
Oh, Tanjay, long 3's got it. Oh, John Tanjay just drills it.
Colorado State now, Tim, 5 of 6 from 3, and Tanjay shot that from that little restaurant that we had lunch at today. Lord, that was deep.
long shot. So Najee Smith getting it to Shaver. Shaver trying to get things going for Boise State. Slow start. Last time they were here, or last time a San Diego State team was here, they had the same start. It was a quick start for Colorado State. San Diego State had to come from behind. Rivera through the defense of Najee Smith. Ends up with 2 more, and it's 24-16.
Boise State can't afford to give up points off turnovers like that on runouts, especially when you're the visiting team.
And Jackson for 2. And Boise State calls timeout. Colorado State. Defense into offense.
Back-to-back turnovers by the Broncos. They're going to have to tighten it up. The Rams are feeling pretty good about things. Up 10 points here in Moby.
Biggest lead for Colorado State, 10 points, 26-16. They're on a 7-0 run in the last minute, and Isaiah Stevens, with his last assist, moves him ahead of Darius Gary on the Mountain West all-time career assist leader list. He's got 5 assists already tonight, 565.
Well, he leads the Mountain West in conference games in assists and assist-to-turnover ratio. Listen to this assist-to-turnover ratio this year. 122 assists, 35 turnovers. You talk about taking care of it and making the game easier for everyone else. This kid is the epitome of that.
He is tops in assists at Colorado State. That's right on the line, and it'll stay with Boise State. Hit Tavy Jackson.
And as you saw, Stevens is not a one-trick pony. He can guard you a little bit, too. He was all up into Max Rice there, almost coming away with a steal.
And we've seen him switch up a little bit on Shaver, but on the other side, Shaver's been sticking with him.
No, that was interesting as we observed during the shoot-arounds today. The Shaver had Stevens, and that was his guy tonight. Now, Colorado's doing a lot more switching than Boise State is, but Stevens, just such a good player across the board, offensively and defensively.
Rice off the screen, gives it back outside. Shaver, now Najee Smith lines up a three, and he's got it. That's the first three ball for Boise State in the ball game.
1 for 7, and Najee Smith is having an outstanding game, as I mentioned earlier, coming off his first career double-double with 18 and 10 against Wyoming.
Moores to Stevens, the wraparound pass, but a foul. Looked like maybe Smith had a hand on Tanjay, and he did. So that will be foul number 1 on Najee Smith.
Let me tell you what Stevens can do. 3 things a point guard needs to do, and he's done all 3 of them here. 1, on that pass, you got to be able to feed the post, which doesn't sound like much, but that's a lost art anymore. Not a lot of post players, but that was a terrific post pass there. You got to be able to recognize and know when to throw the ball ahead, which doesn't, again, sound like much. Stevens does a great job of that. Then you got to be able to read the draw and kick when you drive the ball into the lane, read where the appropriate pass goes, and Stevens does a great job of all 3 of those.
Tanjay earns the bonus after the 7th team foul by Boise State.
Tanjay now with 9 points.
And he is into double figures with 10. Well, Tanjay, along with Stevens, last 2 games they've combined for 86 points. And they both had over 20 points each in those last 2 games.
Tanjay has 4 20-point games, as you said, 2 of them back-to-back, halfway to his 5th 20-point game of this season.
Cuts the lead to 7. Marcus Shaver, 28-21. Moore's the high post, hands off, and Stevens will drive. And he was cut off, but he somehow managed to create space.
That was pretty good defense, team defense by the Broncos. Milner giving enough help that Shaver could recover.
And Shaver started to heat up.
I tell you, Shavers, I told you before, Tim, I'm kind of a jump shot snob being from Indiana. Marcus Shaver's shot comes out of his hands as soft as a baby's bottom. I mean, that thing has a ton of backspin and touch on it.
And Tanjay knocks it down. So John Tanjay is red hot in this game. He's got 12 points.
They list Tanjay as 6'5", 210. He looks bigger than that to me. I said that at shoot-around. And he's got long arms as well.
A foul on Rivera of Colorado State. So Isaiah Rivera picks up his first. And that should be the 15th foul on Colorado State.
Rivera's been a solid kid for the Rams all year. He started 24 of 25 games, averaging just under 10 points, but at 6'5", 210, he and Tanjay kind of make it tough to match up against. Basically, they start 2 small forwards is what it amounts to.
Abo on the far side. Manages to get it to Milner. Now out to Shaver. 3 seconds to shoot. Shaver just sees the clock. He pulls up and cannot hit it. But Milner gets the rebound and the stick back, and he's fouled. And a possible 3-point play for Boise State.
Great job by Milner going up with 2 hands on that. And as I talked about Shaver's terrific touch on the ball. Now, he won't get an assist on this, but that ball came off the rim about as soft as it leaves his hands there. What a great move by Shaver just to get open to shoot that shot.
Now, basketball is a funny game sometimes. You can't always predict what the stats are going to look like at the end. The last time Boise State and Colorado State played on the 28th of January, Boise State had 1 offensive rebound in the game. 1. They've got 4 already tonight.
And they won 80-59 in that, where they had 4 guys in double digits. Now, Boise State trying to return the favor to the Rams tonight. The Rams swept Boise State in their 2-game series last year. Even though Boise State won 27 games. They lost twice to the Rams last year. Of course, the Rams had a terrific year, 25-6, 14-4 in the league. These were two very, very good teams last year. The Rams being struck with injuries and losing a lot of close games. Not quite the record this year.
Cartier, who the foul was on at the other end, has the basketball, working his way toward the bucket. Redirected. Najee Smith the rebound.
Cartier, the kid that leads the league in field goal percentage. The Broncos have done a pretty good job. That's an outstanding job by Milner. Just staying down, staying between him and the basket. That's almost all post defense is. Guys have a little trouble understanding that sometimes.
Shabuzo Abo long. And Rice with the rebound, and he up fakes. He'll try another three, and he's got it.
Max Rice, great lift on his shot, great lower body. That's the reason he has such range on that shot, is he really gets his legs and from his waist down into that shot, and a very good shot fake, as you just saw.
And here come the Broncos. They've cut a 10-point lead down to 1, and they'll get a chance to take the lead as Jace Whiting has the basketball.
Whiting getting a lot of time at both the 1 and the 2 tonight. He's played alongside Shaver, now playing the point guard alongside Rice.
And the ball is going to be out of bounds off of Cartier. And the Broncos will have the ball when we come back with Max Rice. Little dipsy-do right here. And sets up his shot and makes it a 1-point game. Last time these two teams met in Boise, January 28th, Tyson Degenhardt led the way, 22 points. He was 10 of 11 from the field. Shabuzo Abo had a great night, 17 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Najee Smith, 16 of his own. Boise took the lead. 1 minute into the game and never looked back. They won it 80-59 over the Rams. And they've got the basketball and a chance for the lead, and Max Rice gives them the lead, 31-30.
Max Rice, one of the most creative guys around the basket. When he gets there, he can score on a variety of runners and little flips. His dad told me one time when he was in high school, I don't know where he even got that from. I don't teach that. But he said he has a knack for scoring.
Now Milner blocked Tanjay. Here's Rice on the run-out.
Boy, Milner's been good defensively off the bench for the Broncos tonight. Again, just staying down, making it tough to score over him.
Lob and the kick out. And a shot by Kobe Young way too long.
Well, the Broncos' last 2 3-point attempts are both been DNDIs, did not draw iron.
I was waiting for that one from you.
Look at that move by Marcus Shaver. And you've heard me say this before, trying to stay in front of Marcus Shaver is like trying to nail Jell-O to a tree. I mean, he is all over, and he is tough to guard in the open court.
Well, biggest lead now for Boise State is just 3 points. The last time they led was when the score was 4-3, so it's in the early stages, but now toward the end of the first half, a little bit more meaningful in terms of having the lead and coming back from a 10-point deficit. Battling for the loose ball, Shaver keeps it alive.
Really great half-court defense there by the Broncos. And one of the things they've done now is they have limited Colorado State's second chances. Early in the game, Colorado State had a few putbacks, 5 offensive rebounds for the Broncos. Only 1 offensive rebound for Colorado State, but they got several tap-backs for second shots. The Broncos have really turned their attention to rebounding now.
Shot clock to 2, and Shaver launches and hits right off the glass. How about that for a 3-pointer and a 13-0 run for Boise State?
And a little smile from Shaver there, which you usually see absolutely no emotion out of him, good, bad, or indifferent. That time on an unintentional bank, he did give us a little grin.
Well, bank's open late in Colorado. After hours. A 6-point lead now, but
here's Shaver showing you why he's so hard to guard. Look at this, a little shooky in the paint, and then this desperation 3 that he made look pretty easy. Boy, he's a good one. I tell you, the Broncos return an awful good team next year, but they're going to miss this kid.
26 of Boise State's 36 points have been scored by those two guys, Najee Smith and Marcus Shaver.
Najee Smith with 14 double-digit games coming into this one and a career high and season high 20 against Nevada. That day where Najee Smith showed out, he had 13 rebounds in that fist fight they called a basketball game over in the pit a couple weeks ago. Boy, he was a man amongst men when it came to rebounding in that game.
Tanjay trying to find a lane down the right side. He's cut off. Now Cartier with him.
Now this is a momentum possession for the Rams here, Tim. If they can score and then hold Boise State on their possession, they go in with a little bit of momentum and some good feelings. But if they don't score and the Broncos come down and score, then the momentum goes to the Broncos, who have the momentum now. Remember, they were doubled up score-wise early in the game and now up by 5 points with 29 seconds left.
Kobe Young, his second foul for Boise State. He'll head over to the bench. And Najee Smith will check back in. So will Tyson Dagenhart. 9th team foul, so next foul for the Broncos puts the Rams in the double bonus. But not a lot of time left in the half to utilize that with less than half a minute.
And I've been bragging on Lucas Milner's post defense, and that time just kind of a silly foul. Cartier caught it about 8 feet from the basket, and Milner just kind of gave him a little shove there. It didn't cost him as Cartier misses a free throw.
Didn't give him a little shooky?
No, that's only when you got the ball in your hand. You can do a little shooky.
Shot clock dead, 15 seconds to go in the half. Broncos have spread the floor out, waiting to isolate. Gets the screen from Dagenhart. Dagenhart looks to drive, draws two, and now will fire it up, and it's off the glass. No good. Desperation heave. Goes past the backboard from Tanjay. 36-31 is your halftime score here at Moby Arena. Abe Ford Collins with Joe Cravens. I'm Tim Neverett. Colorado State Rams got out to a 10-point lead, but the Broncos galloped right back and have a 5-point edge heading into the locker room. 36-31. Stand by. Our halftime activities coming up from Fort Collins. Back at Moby Arena with Joe Cravens, Tim Neverett. 36-31. Boise State with the lead over the Rams. Rams fans hoping for a run of their own. The Broncos with a 13-1 run at the end of the half. And we expected a really good matchup of point guards tonight, but it's been all about Marcus Shaver and Isaiah Stevens yet to crack the scoring column.
Well, what you don't see in those statistics there, other than Stevens 0 points, is what Marcus Shaver has done defensively. I'm telling you, he's been on Isaiah Stevens like freckles on a redhead here for the first 20 minutes. Let's see if Stevens can get it going offensively.
For Shaver, he needs 3 points for 1,000 as a Boise State Bronco.
Boy, he's been really good there. Not just statistically, he is kind of the heart and soul of this team. You can tell that from watching him practice and in the shoot-around.
Oh, Jackson spinning around. Cartier tips. It is loose, and Stevens comes up with it for the Rams.
Stevens now 0 for 5 from the field.
Cartier in the paint's got to move. Left hand, and that goes. And he's fouled, and he'll go to the line for a possible three-point play.
Cartier, the leading field goal guy in the league and 6th in the nation. This was a pretty slick move here against a pretty good defender. Kind of a little pirouette and finish with his left hand. 2-time Division II All-American. And he is very close to scoring 2,000 points in his career, Tim. He is setting on 939 coming into this game, and that's in 4 years. He has that COVID year left.
Still has a good chance to get there. Very good chance. The foul was on Max Rice, by the way, his first. Here's Dagenhart against Cartier. It's a good matchup here. Dagenhart whips it back out to Rice. And over to Abo, and that's off the mark.
Abo's really had a hard time finding the range from three-point line.
From the corner, Rivera. Rebound to Smith. Najee Smith's been all around, as we pointed out. Smith now with 5 rebounds in the game. Degenhardt dead on 3. Got it.
And you have to find him and transition. He runs right to the top of the key, toes that three-point line. Most big guys defensively are just almost programmed to run back to the paint, start looking for the guy. You better find Degenhardt a lot sooner than that.
Up and under for Cartier. 8 points now for Patrick Cartier out of Brookfield, Wisconsin.
I think those two are both attending the School of Mutual Admiration as they score on one another.
Hey, look at Degenhardt stepping through the double team and scoring and getting fouled.
Well, they may want the rest of the 8 guys just to go sit down, as they look like they're playing horse here in about the first 2 minutes.
Now fouls on Rivera.
Degenhardt here with a up and under move. The one thing that's really good about Degenhardt, he gets the ball in the post, whether he's backing you down or he's executing a post move. He's always got his head up looking to pass. He's second on the team in assists. 51 assists coming into this game. A very, very alert passer out of the post.
Now Rivera, the bounce pass, high post. Cartier whips it to Stevens.
Cartier has just covered carried the Rams offensively here early in the second half.
Tavy Jackson had his heels on the sideline and was whistled for being out of bounds. That's the 5th turnover for Colorado State.
Tavy Jackson, a really good-looking young guard for the Rams.
And a foul on Jackson on the other end. He had his feet moving.
Max Rice went down hard. He's not going to stay down very long. Max Rice is just tougher than a pine knot. You won't see him rubbing anything, limping around. Watch him. He's up, spit on it, and rub a little dirt on it, and let's play.
Just tape an aspirin to it, he'll be all right.
But he is a tough nut. Boy, I tell you, he's got a bulging disc in his back right now. He has trouble putting his shoes on, but you would never know it watching him play.
Here's Najee Smith with a basketball. Now Degenhardt. Degenhardt looking for some help. Skip pass to Abo. Chibuzo Abo in the lane. Back outside Degenhardt. He drives and through 3 defenders he scores.
How about that finish? What was so great about that? After the contact, he kept his vision up on the rim as he released the ball, played through the hit. All great finishers got their chin off their chest when they released the ball.
Degenhardt in double figures with 10. Cartier left alone for 3. Got it.
Cartier looks like he's in the gym playing by himself right now.
There's a guy you can't afford to leave alone. He's 6th in the nation in field goal percentage, tops in the Mountain West, better than 66%.
Well, he's made a couple really nifty post moves and then thrown that one in from 3.
And Cartier now with 1,950 career points after that 3-point make, but a whistle, and the ball come down the other way.
You know, some stats like that, Tim, should have an asterisk by him because of the COVID year. But as I've said, this kid has done it in less than 4 years. He has his COVID year left. It's hard to figure out who's coming back, who's not. Some guys have that COVID year banked, so to speak, and have the option to come back. It'll be 2 or 3 years before we get all this straightened out.
So Degenhardt whistled for the foul. Got a hand on the hip of Cartier. And that will be foul number 3 on Tyson Degenhardt. So expect him to see a little bench time here.
Milner will come back in. As I said, Milner really had a good defensive first half, other than that one foul that when Cartier caught it with his back to the basket, Milner fouled him. But he made life pretty tough on Cartier around the basket in that first 20 minutes.
Jackson to trigger the inbound. Puts it in play to Cartier. Cartier, hook shot, front iron, and the rebound Milner.
And right on cue, Milner stays between he and the basket, defends the shot, makes it hard on Cartier.
Cartier stopped Abo, but Abo got his own rebound and scores 2.
Abo, I believe that's his first 2. He was 0 for 2 at halftime. We hadn't called his name much.
No, he was 0 for 4 actually before that one. Overall.
Abo got off to a great start in conference play and was just lighting it up from the 3-point line, and he has cooled down considerably.
Jackson forced elbow to step on the baseline. And that's the 6th turnover for Colorado State. As Boise State came out strong to start the second half of play, they lead it 46-38 at Moby. This lucky fan's got a check in that envelope, winning it during the contest, during the timeout. It's nice to get that kind of money. So the net top 100 right now, San Diego State 18, Boise State 24. You see the rest of the Mountain West teams in the top 100, including UNLV and New Mexico, who both lost last night. But you look at what the conference has done. And right now you look at the Mountain West, they're ahead of the Pac-12, they're ahead of the ACC, and they've got the best net ranking west of the Mississippi River.
Well, it's been a great year in the Mountain West Conference. One of the things you and I talked about, Tim, is how good the bottom of the league is. Teams like San Jose and Air Force have been at the bottom, and boy, those are no walkovers anymore.
Well, you look at Najee Smith just cleaning that one up on top of the rim, and the largest lead for Boise State now at 10.
Najee Smith having an outstanding night, 15 points now.
Isaiah Stevens with his first points of the night.
How about that? Only 2 points, averaging over 19 points in conference play, leading the Rams in scoring. Has been really slow to get started tonight, obviously.
Well, Shaver in traffic, a little long on the three, and there's Stevens.
See, what I say is Stevens has done, though, 7 assists with only 2 turnovers. He's done a great job of distributing the ball.
And if you sleep on him, he can take over a game. He misses here, but he's taken over a number of games this year.
Well, he's the 4th all-time leading scorer for Colorado State and the career leader in assists. He is, as I said in our open, simply one of the best players ever here at Colorado State.
Rivera for 3. Got it! So Isaiah Rivera knocks down the long one. Spent 2 seasons on the bench and now a regular starter. Steal off to Stevens, back to Rivera. He's got 2 more.
8 assists for Stevens now. What a great pass. He put that one through a crack in the door.
A 10-point lead has been cut to 3 as the Rams turn defense into offense. And for Rivera, 11 points. But a really good situation for Colorado State as they dig their way back into this basketball game here in Fort Collins. The Rams on their way back. Right there, that is Ali Faroukmanesh, assistant coach for Colorado State, who had perhaps one of the biggest three-pointers ever in the NCAA tournament while playing for Northern Iowa. In the NCAA tournament against Kansas, they're still talking about this one in Iowa, for sure. They beat UNLV in the first round. Then the mighty Jayhawks were knocked off after that shot. They had a 1-point lead at that point. That ensured it. But it sent the Panthers to the Sweet 16 and made some history in the northern part of the state of Iowa, for sure. And that is a shot that is not forgotten in the Hawkeye State. That is for sure.
Well, a shot that wasn't heard exactly around the world, but certainly in the Hawkeye State.
Absolutely. It's just one shot, but it's like, you know, it's when you get it, right?
No question. No question. And the Rams are trying to make things interesting here.
A little contact and a whistle, and Palmer, who looked like he might have been just inside the restricted area arc, ends up drawing the offensive foul. Chibuzo Agbo will be called for it.
Joe Palmer, the transfer from a Division III school, Augsburg, second team Division III All-American, is a real fan favorite here. He comes in and does just exactly what you saw. Gives the Rams a lot of energy, a lot of toughness off the bench. And as I say, he has become a real fan favorite here.
Inside, Moores, back outside. Head with a dribble and a drive and a right-hand layup.
A great ball movement there by the Rams. A couple guys turning down good shots to get a great shot. They got the Broncos in a rotation and caught a mismatch there and made it look pretty easy. The Rams are really on a roll at half court offensively.
They have cut it to one on a 9-0 run. Big possession here for Boise State. Abo in the paint. Fadeaway, no. And a chance for the lead now for CSU.
You hate to see Abo fade away like that, as big and strong as he is. I'd like to see him gone up really and try to just power that one in.
Some nifty passing by Stevens. Palmer wide open. And the Broncos get it back. Degenhart with a rebound. There's his fifth.
Has been getting a little rest. Excuse me, Tim. He and Smith by the scorers table getting ready to come back in now.
Degenhart with Stevens harassing him defensively. Whiting to Abo.
Look at Stevens playing post defense on Degenhart, doing exactly what you're supposed to when you're a little or a post guy getting to a full front down there.
Abo knocked it down with a shot clock at 2.
Abo's fourth point. One of the 5 Bronco starters that average double figures in conference play.
I think Abo's got something going on with his right eye. Maybe a contact situation. He did point over to the bench. He was fiddling around with the eyelid on his right eye. But trying to play with it.
That's been quiet here of late is John Tonje, who got off to that great start offensively.
Palmer spots up, and he's coming through. He was the first guy in the gym this afternoon for the Rams, and he makes a big 3-ball count and tie the game.
I was going to say that you and I got here early, and he got here earlier than you and I out there spotting up shooting threes.
50-50. Abo unties it as he launches one from the top of the key for 3.
Abo was 0 for 3 from the three-point line before that. Kind of the opposite of Marcus Shaver, who shoots that great ball with that great release. Abo's jump shot has very little rotation on it.
7 points for Abo. Now Stevens. Give the pass over to Tonje, and a steal by Abo. Abo guarded by Stevens. Now whips it to Whiting. He drives and scores. Jace Whiting.
What a nice job. A little ball fake by him, getting his guy to lean toward that ball screen, and he just took him right off the dribble. Great basketball family. His dad Trent played at both Utah and BYU. His mom Amber, now the coach at BYU. I'd say it's a pretty good basketball family.
Basketball family out of Burley, Idaho. And here's Moores giving back to Stevens. Kicks it underneath and headers there for an easy 2. Baylor Hebb.
Stevens' 9th assist, and as I say, he's not had a great scoring night. Isaiah Stevens with only 2 points, and he is just making the game easy for the other 4 guys on the court. The career assist leader at Colorado State.
Abo on the cut, curled around, and he is fouled. And that foul is going to be on Baylor Hebb, his 4th.
Watch Stevens on this great feed, completely selfless, one of the greatest players in the history of the Rams.
Well, last season, one of the best in the history of Boise State basketball. They finished atop the Mountain West regular season standings, 15-3 in conference play. They win the tournament in Las Vegas, also over San Diego State. Get the automatic bid. Leon Rice, Coach of the Year. Tyson Degenhart, Freshman of the Year. All of this on their way to an 8th NCAA tournament appearance. Their highest seed ever in a school record 27 wins. And they are looking for their 8th 20-win season to join those teams.
Well, Tim, the Mountain West Conference is 24 years old. For a team to win the regular season and the conference tournament, that's only been done 3 times, and the Broncos achieved that last year. Leon Rice now, the winningest coach in the history of Boise State.
We were talking with Leon quite a bit today about, seedings and what's really important. And while it is important to win your league, what everybody focuses on is what seed are you going to be in the tournament.
Question. Yeah, it's kind of gotten a little bit perverse a little bit in terms of what's important at this time of year.
Here's Rivera, cut off by Abo. Now Stevens.
Great switch there by the Broncos on Stevens on the perimeter.
On the basket, and one of the Rams took a heavy flop on the floor right afterward. And that is Tavy Jackson, who came down the wrong way, to say the least.
Tavy Jackson, an outstanding young guard from Las Vegas, has missed a bunch of basketball this year, a bunch of games because of COVID. And boy, he went down like a sack of taters on that one. I'm not sure how that happened.
He had a stress fracture early in the year, and then COVID twice.
Yes.
This year. He's feeling it on that left elbow.
And with that score there by Patrick Cartier, the 6th leading field goal guy in the nation, first in the Mountain West, he has showed us a variety of ways. He scored in the post. He's hit a three. He's went up and under. He scored that one with his offhand, his left hand. He is really talented around the basket.
Degenhart sticks the three.
And that's what Degenhart does, is stretch the defense as a post guy. Cartier trying to give a little weak side help off of him. And on that ball reversal, he just couldn't get back in time.
He's got 13 points now. 2 for 3 from behind the arc.
I thought it was interesting what Coach Medved told us today. He said, if I were voting today for MVP of the league, it would be Degenhart. He said he just does so many things. Stevens finally throwing one in.
And Colorado State certainly needs more of that from Isaiah Stevens down the stretch. It's a 3-point lead for the Broncos. They've got the basketball.
Isaiah Stevens, the 4th all-time leading scorer here. Now only 19 made 3-point shots to catch Dorian Green, a kid that was a 4-year starter here several years ago. Now the assistant coach at Northern Colorado.
Abo from the corner hits it. What a second half Chibuzo Abo is having.
Boy, he has. Remember, he shot a couple of air balls the first half. I was talking about the lack of rotation on his jump shot. He must have heard that because he's knocked a couple in now. I hope he doesn't get mad at me. He's a pretty good sized fella.
Yeah, he's got a couple inches on you.
Probably.
This one's not going to go. Cartier trying to get in position for a rebound, but a foul underneath. And we will take a timeout. 7:54 to go. 63-57. Boise State. Broncos a 6-point lead over the Rams. 7:54 to go in the second half of play. Well, when you look at what is ahead for Boise State, their resume, they are a win away from winning 20, a win away from their 10th win in conference play, which would tie Nevada for second place, just behind San Diego State. And Mike DeCourcy predicting the Broncos as a 12 seed. And you might say, well, is that low? And I would say, if you follow the NCAA tournament, a 12 seed always beats a 5 seed. That's the biggest upset bracket there is in the NCAA tournament, it seems.
There's one each year, and Colorado State scoring on that end out is a dagger to the heart of Boise State assistant coach Mike Burns, who just drilled the Broncos on how to guard end outs today and did a great job. I'm really surprised they were able to score on one.
Well, they worked on defending inbound plays from the baseline and out of bounds on the sideline. They worked a lot on those types of situations today.
Both teams did. I was so impressed with both teams' walkthroughs today, how exact they were, the attention to detail. I was, as I said earlier in the broadcast, kidding Nico Medved. I said, I'm not sure either team will score tonight. We may get toward the end of the game and it's 0-0, but they both staffs did a terrific job today. So impressed with that.
Palmer out, Tanjay back in, and that went over everything from the far corner by Abo. And a whistle right near the baseline to the right of the basket.
Boy, it seems like it's all or nothing for Abo from 3 tonight. Either it goes in or he's missed everything. That's about his 3rd air ball, I think, Tim, from the 3-point line. He started out, boy, hot as the Texas parking lot, shooting it in for 3 at about the first 5 games of league play. Since then, he's just kind of lost his way a little bit.
So Max Rice forgot to go to the scorer's table, but he's checking back in. And Jace Whiting will be replaced for the time being.
I had no idea. We were talking to Coach Rice today, of course, Max's dad, that Max has a chance to have won more games than anyone in the history of Boise State. He's got another year to come back.
Albo fouled on his way to the bucket. It'll be on Cartier. And for Cartier, that'll be foul number 2. 4th team foul for Colorado State.
Speaking of coming back, Cartier is listed as a graduate student, and he's got another year left. This whole COVID thing, like I say, several guys out here, even though they're listed as seniors, are banking a COVID year for Colorado State. Both Tonje and Stevens can come back next year.
So that missed free throw ends a successful streak for Abo of 23 straight. So he's now hit 24 of 25. That's still pretty good.
That's not, as they say at home, that's not love, but it's not bad.
And it's also his 300th point as a member of Boise State since he transferred from Texas Tech.
He's been a pretty good pickup for the Broncos, let me tell you.
24 out of 25, 96%. You'd take that, wouldn't you? Foul on Stevens by Shaver.
Shaver did a great job. They ran Stevens off a couple baseline screens there. He curled in, and Shaver was right on his hip. When he caught that ball, Shaver was right in his grill.
Stevens to the line. He is...
He's not shot a free throw tonight, has he?
He is not. Very well decorated.
He's only a 86% free throw shooter, 53 of 61 coming into this game.
And that one falls. Well, you look back at the game at UNLV on the 14th. It was an overtime win, 82-81. Basically, Isaiah Stevens won that game by himself. He had a little help, but...
Well, he had 33 points. He had 8 made three-point shots. And the amazing thing, Tim, 4 of those three-point makes were in the last 30 seconds of the game.
Elbow on the miss. That was after a collision. And it looked like Lucas Milner got the worst of it in the jaw. Stevens kicks it out. Jackson. Now Tonje. Shaver got in there, got a hand on it, knocked it out of bounds, and the Rams will have a new possession.
I'll tell you one thing I've noticed about the Mountain West Conference this year. It is not for the faint of heart. I'm telling you, it has turned into a league that is very physical and just as rough as an old corn cob around that basket. You better not take it in there and be soft, or you're going to get your lunch money taken away from you.
Well, if you want an entertaining week, you go to Vegas for the tournament. What a make.
Tonje with a made 3 and a free throw with a chance to take the lead with 6:22 left.
So Tonje, with defenders all over him, fouled by Kobe Young. That'll be Young's 3rd foul. A chance for a 4-point play for Tonje, and the lead, as Joe mentioned. 15 points now for Tonje.
Tonje had 12 in the first half, and this is his first score, I believe, in the second half.
First lead since it was 30-29. Well, Colorado State has come back to take a lead with just over 6 minutes to play.
And Colorado State jumping into a little 2-3 zone to kind of change the pace here a little bit, which I think is a very good move if you can rebound out of this 2-3 zone.
Pass taken away by Rivera.
It's only the second turnover by the Broncos this half. Remember, they started off about 3 in the first 5 minutes.
Stevens went right around Whiting. Colorado State with a 3-point lead. And this is the time Colorado State needs Stevens to get hot. He has scored in double figures in all 19 games he's played this season. Now he's got 11 after having nothing in the first half.
Well, watch this great hesitation there. He stands up. Everyone around him bringing it with his offhand, his left hand, a little hesitation, and then a strong explosion to the basket. The fourth all-time leading scorer here at Colorado State. Starting to show why he is the fourth all-time leading scorer.
More great college basketball coming up this weekend. On Fox Saturday, it's a special UConn basketball doubleheader. First, 11:30 Eastern, the men take the court as Adama Sanogo leads the 20th-ranked Huskies against Seton Hall. Then at 2:30, the 6th-ranked women take center stage as they battle the nation's leading scorer, Maddie Siegrist, and the 14th-ranked Villanova Wildcats. It all begins Saturday on Fox. 11 assists, another double-double for Isaiah Stevens. He is the 22nd player in Colorado State history with double figures in double-doubles in a season.
Oh, he just had an unbelievable career here. You ought to heard the Boise State staff talking about him today, the level of respect and level of fear they had, saying that he could just take over a game, which he is about to do, seemingly, in many, many ways.
Max Rice launches and hits short two.
Nice shot by Max Rice. Nice middle game pull-up. Max, as I said, may be one of the cleverest and most efficient finishers from inside the lane. Now, that was a little bit longer than that, but he is really good when he gets inside the lane line.
Cartier missing the three. Loose ball. Ends up with Rivera. He goes to the bucket, missing the layup. Najee Smith got the ball back for Boise State. Rice, the runner. Didn't roll. He'll somehow come up with a basketball. No-look pass underneath. And it's kicked back out to Rice. Wide open, Degenhart for three. Got it! Tyson Degenhart gets the Broncos back in front.
And what great court awareness by Max Rice, stealing that offensive rebound, getting it back on the perimeter, kind of surveying the situation and finding his teammate Degenhart out there by himself. And Degenhart delivering as usual.
16 points for Degenhart. Rivera lobs it right down the side of the lane for Cartier, and Cartier finds Tanjay, back to Cartier, and that's good for two.
Boy, dribble penetration. If you're on defense, you let the ball get driven to the lane. Nothing good happens if you're on defense. The Broncos played one possession, great defense, and then, boy, gave up dribble penetration to a basket.
Skip pass. Back up front, Shaver. We have had 4 ties and 6 different lead changes in this game. And Shaver creates some room and scores too. 15 points for Marcus Shaver.
Remember me talking about trying to nail Jello to a tree. Once again, trying to guard Marcus Shaver with a live ball is very similar to that. Man, oh man, is he hard to stay in front of.
Shaver with 999 points now as a Boise State Bronco. And now Stevens. Oh, that one wouldn't cooperate. Degenhart comes away with it.
I'll tell you what Degenhart is. He's a great rebounder in a crowd because he has terrific hands. When he gets 2 hands on the ball, he very seldom doesn't bring it home.
Under 3 minutes remaining in regulation. Bullet pass underneath. Degenhart with 18.
Great offensive call from Boise State's bench on that little cross screen. Big to big to get that easy basket there to go up 4. Boise State up 4 now. Marcus Shaver, big time.
.69, close one down the stretch. Student section, they're into it here at Moby Arena. Oh, Max Rice and Marcus Shaver coming back out. What Tyson Degenhart. First half, he had 2 points. He was 1 for 4. Second half, 16 points. Shaver's been really good, 15 points. We showed you at the half. Stevens had nothing. Now he's got a double-double as he explodes for 11.
How about that? His fourth double-double of the year. He had one double-double with rebounds, where obviously had double-digit rebound, but he's had double-digit assists now 3 different times this year.
Well, who wins the next 2 minutes and 40 seconds? Cartier moving toward the basket, blocked by Lucas Milner.
And what a great substitution by Boise State, giving Degenhart a little blow by bringing Milner in at the defensive end on that possession. And boy, did he ever deliver. That was great post defense.
Abo holding. Now he'll turn and shoot, and he'll hit. That's a big bucket for Boise State.
So strong is Abo once he gets in the paint. He really wanted to pass to Max Rice. He ended up trying to pass, and that ended up kind of working as a pass fake, and he found himself wide open.
Tanjay short. Stevens will try the rebound 3, and he's got it. 14 points for Isaiah Stevens.
He's only really good when you really need him, and he's really good when you really need him. Man, is he a good player.
We told you he could take a game over, and he has done almost that in the second half. Shaver trying to do the same for the Broncos, and he can't get the roll, but there's Milner with another big play, and a stick back for Lucas Milner.
What a great game Milner has had. The 6'10", 242-pound, fifth-year senior for the Broncos. Started the first 3 games, and he has become invaluable off the bench now.
And Cartier drains the 3.
Tell you almost have to change your ball screen defense with Cartier in there and just not come and help off that. With Cartier twice, he's executed the pick and pop to perfection.
Well, the Ram fans rising to their feet at Moby Arena. Under a minute to go in regulation. Shaver can't connect. There's Cartier on the rebound and a chance to tie it or take the lead for the Rams.
And Shaver's hurt.
Rivera for Stevens. Yeah, Shaver struggling to get back down the floor. Back for Stevens. 36 seconds left.
Shaver missed a game against San Diego State a couple weeks ago.
Oh, and a rough turnover there for Colorado State. He was expecting Rivera to cut to the basket. And now Boise State will get the basketball back.
Well, I don't know if Shaver's going to be able to stay in or not. And he didn't step on anybody's foot or anything, but that may be that ankle that's been giving him trouble here for about the last month to a month and a half. And this one is going right down to the wire.
Kind of game that could come down to the last shot.
Well, if you're at Boise State right now, the very first thing you got to address is getting the ball in. Because we watched Colorado State work on their press today during the shoot-around, and obviously Boise State is very aware that Colorado State likes to press. So the first thing you're doing is drawing up your press attack and making sure you get it in. And I think Boise State has one timeout. Both teams have one timeout left. If you're the Rams, you're coaching a couple different possessions. Are they going to let it run down to the last of the shot clock and then try to score with 4 seconds left? I don't think so. I think they're going to foul here.
But how about the competitiveness of this conference? You've got Colorado State at the bottom of the standings, Boise State near the top of the standings. You got a game like this. You see Wyoming go on the road last night to the pit and not win a close game. They won a blowout against New Mexico. San Jose State goes down to Vegas and beats UNLV.
Oh, there's just been some terrific games. And not only are they close and competitive, as I've talked to coaches, all of a sudden this league has taken a great step forward in terms of how physical it is. I was involved in that Boise State New Mexico game a couple weeks ago in the pit in front of 15,000 fans, and I've seen fistfights that weren't as physical as that basketball game was. I'm telling you, that was all-out physical battle there.
Each team with a timeout left. Next foul for Boise State puts Colorado State at the line for the bonus. And Colorado State with only 14 fouls, so they're in good shape in terms of that. 34 and 1/10 second remain. And Boise State with the basketball and a 2-point lead. Degenhart to Rice. Young is in the game for Colorado State. Long pass to Abo. Abo hanging around in the paint, and he is going to be tied up.
And Albo somewhere between, do I need to run clock or do I need to try to make this easy basket there? I think he kind of fumbled the ball when he caught it. What a great play by Max Rice. Fought off that double team, fought pressure all the way down the sideline and found Albo. Great alertness. And again, I think Albo kind of lost his balance a little bit there. And Boise State not in the 1-and-1 yet. Pretty good foul by Colorado State. You can bet $1 to a donut that was talked about in the Colorado State huddle there, that we've got 1 or 2 to give here.
And Jackson with a foul, his 4th. And now Whiting puts the ball in play, and another quick whistle. Max Rice was the recipient of the pass, and Isaiah Stevens will commit the foul.
Excuse me, Tim. That's the 6th foul in Colorado State. The next one will send Boise State to the line, and I think Colorado State has to foul. 2-second, almost 3-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock, and I don't think they want to let Boise State take the last shot and have only 3 seconds to work with. So I think they'll probably foul here.
Cartier was reaching in, trying to get the steal, but a whistle. It'll be Boise State basketball.
You know, sometimes you watch a game, you think, well, why can't they get the ball in? One reason, there's 5 defenders out there and only 4 offensive players out there. Remember, as a guy taking it out, that number comparison just doesn't work out sometime. Boise State, whose timeout was that? Was that that was a media timeout?
Being a review, the officials want to look at it. Dave Hall is over there. Dave Hall has the distinction, the great distinction of giving Joe Cravens his first ever technical foul as a head coach.
And he certainly did on the floor of the University of Utah Huntsman Center. I was the interim coach there, coaching against Boise State. And I was so green and stupid, I thought I needed to get a technical and get the crowd involved. Dave came out. I was about 8 steps out on the floor and put his arm around me and walked me back to the scorer's table. Almost whispered, I'm going to have to give you a technical foul. Boise State shooting free throws. No one in the stands had any idea what was going on other than me and David Hall.
So, looks like it went off. Did it go off the hand of Smith or off the foot of Cartier?
Looked like it went off the left foot of Cartier to me. But you notice they haven't come over and asked you and I what we thought.
Dave Hall, the lead official tonight, right there in the middle of your screen.
After that story, Dave Hall, let me also tell you, he's one of the best officials in the history of the game. Many Final Fours, many final games for a national championship. He has been outstanding for a long, long time. And
42 years. Yep, 42 years he's been doing it.
A good friend of mine, even though he gave me my first technical, I told him, I'll
showed you the way.
Overlook that. Yeah.
So 20 seconds to go in this one. Boise State trying to get the ball inbound. It's loose. And Najee Smith will grab it, and Cartier tackles him.
What a nice move by Smith coming from left field to create a passing lane there to get to it. D.G. Nelson, the official, right on top of it. Leon Rice calling for an intentional foul, but I don't think he's going to get that. Watch Najee Smith kind of went up in the crowd and kind of batted it into that backcourt. And if that's not intentional, Cartier got all he wanted out of that foul, that's for sure. Watch this. That looked like 2 out of 3 falls beginning there to me.
You see, you may or may not have seen it, but way in the background, Isaiah Stevens came off the sideline limping. And he is kind of limping around now as he makes his way into your picture.
Najee Smith, not one of the better free throw shooters of this starting 5, only 64%, and I think has missed a couple tonight. No, let me take that back. He's 4 for 4 tonight from the free throw line.
Smith has had a good night. 16 points, and he's got another shot.
Boy, he shot that one sweet as church music there. That barely touched the rim.
So you get into this situation where this is the key right here, making a 3-point game a 4-point game.
Yes, sir, buddy. Now the Broncos just need to be smart here. Play good defense. Don't foul a shooter. Give up one contested shot.
And Stevens forces that three and hits. Can you believe that? Isaiah Stevens with a prayer of a three brings it to 1 point with 9 seconds left.
And we talked about the game he had at UNLV where he had 4 made threes in the last 30 seconds of the game. And that was like a flashback to the Thomas and Mack Center.
17 second half points.
Wow. What a shot. As I said, one of the best players in the history of Colorado State, one of the best guards in the history of the Mountain West Conference. You can count on one thing out of this 24-year-old Mountain Conference. Every year you're going to see great guard play in this League 10. There has been some terrific guards. Sam Merrill, Jimmer Fredette. The list just goes on of great guards that have come out of the Mountain West Conference.
Well, he's one of them.
He certainly is. A kid that had no points at halftime.
He's going to sit here in the final 9 seconds, or at least to the next whistle if there is one.
And Boise State still with 1 timeout left here. If Max Rice can't get it in, look for him to call timeout.
Well, Degenhardt's going to get fouled.
Nice inbounds play by the Broncos there. They ran a guy long, kind of sucked in a defender or two. Ran Degenhardt, who's got great hands and great strength. And nice job by Colorado State. They only lost about 2.5 seconds on that.
We were talking with Nico Medved earlier today, and you said, hey, this game might be 0-0 the way you guys defend. He goes, yeah, watch it be like 81-82. And look, we're close.
Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? Boise State, the best defensive team in the league. Colorado State, kind of the middle of the pack, but Nico Medved still kind of hangs his hat on defense and rebounding. I would have bet by more than West Torquay this wouldn't want to get to 80, which it's about to.
Degenhardt, the cold-blooded free throw right there. He's got another one coming up.
Now the big question, if you're Boise State and you go up 3, do you foul and not give the Rams a chance to hit a 3 and tie it up?
Chance for the Rams.
Hands up, no fouls. Hands up,
the
no
last
fouls.
shot. And Tajay short on the 3. He wanted a foul, nothing called. And that is going to be your ball game. 80-78. Boise State hangs on and wins a big one on the road here in Fort Collins to get their 20th win of the season, to go to 20-6. They have tied Nevada for second place in the Mountain West Conference standings at 10-3.
What a great college game, Tim. Right down to the wire. Leon Rice's 20th win this year, his 10th in his career there. And let's tip our hat to the Rams. Here's this last play here. Boise State does a nice job of giving a little room, contesting the shot. Najee really wanted a foul, and boy, Degenhardt was close to fouling him there, wasn't he?
He was. The shot came up short at the end. But Colorado State trying to
college game.
Great college to defend the home court tonight. Did all they could, but Boise State was very good. Tyson Degenhardt, 19 points total, and the vast majority of those coming in the second half, Joe.
Tyson Degenhardt, the 11th leading scorer, 4th in field goal percentage in the league, and what a clutch player he is. What do you need? You need me to shoot it in. You need me to rebound it. What a great, great second half Degenhardt had.
21st ranked San Diego State on top, but not by too much. And Boise State tying Steve Alford's Nevada Wolfpack. Utah State right on their heels, and here come the San Jose State Spartans. Who had that on their bingo card back in November?
How about the job Tim Miles has done there? My vote for Conference of the Year, Tim Miles. This is what you call a grinded out affair tonight, that Boise State showed a lot of heart going on the road and coming away with a win. The Rams now 5 straight losses at home. which is very uncharacteristic for them. But, boy, they played hard.
Well, Isaiah Stevens had a great second half. A double-double for Stevens of Colorado State, but Degenhardt led the way with 19 points. And Boise State comes up with an 80-78 win. For my partner, Joe Cravens, and our entire crew here in Fort Collins, I'm Tim Neverett. Thanks for watching tonight on FS1. Now, stay tuned. NASCAR Cup qualifying coming up next.